Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Hello everyone, welcome once again to Ed in the Academy. I'm Darryl.
I'm Laura.
And I'm going to do a little baby clap. Clap. Alright, we're here to talk about Darryl's number 5, Princess Bride, but also your
Number 2.
So, it's the only one of our top 20 that is a crossover.
And it's very high on the list,
Yeah.
crossed over,
Yeah.
which makes sense.
Alright, so let me give you some background information on Princess Bride. It was directed, co-produced by Rob Reiner, starring Carrie Ellis, Mandy Patinkin, Chris Sarandon, Christopher Guest, Wallace Shawn, Andre the Giant, and Robin Wright. It was adapted by William Goldman. He wrote the screenplay from his own novel. So, at the 60th Academy Awards, it was nominated for Best Original Song for Storybook Love. It was nominated for a bunch of other things at festivals. It won the Best Fantasy Film at the Saturn Awards and Best Costume Design. It was nominated for Best Writing, and Robin Wright was nominated for Best Actress. It won the 1988 Hugo Award for Best Dramatic Presentation for the 1987 Toronto International Film Festival. It won the People's Choice Award. And Fred Savage won Best Young Actor in a Motion Picture Drama at the 4th Artois Awards, and it was nominated for Best Feature Film Casting in the Comedy section. So this was, at the time, a critical darling. It is also commonly misunderstood. It made its money. It doubled its money.
Yeah.
So it was a successful film, but it was not the film that it is now.
Exactly.
So the budget was $16 million. It made $30.85 million.
Which was fine.
Yep. And again, this is one where the rental industry, VHS, really exploded and gave this movie new life. In 2016, the film was selected by the Library of Congress for preservation in the United States National Film Registry as being, quote, culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant.
All of those things are true.
Okay, so because this is on both of our lists, we're just going to do a quick version and then we'll have a lovely discussion. So would you like to go first?
I will go first. Go quickly, just kind of the what speaks to me about this book. And first of all, how did this movie, how did I come to it? Because I read the book. So that's where I was going. I read the book before I saw the movie. I love William Goldman. I love his screenplays.
He did The Last Unicorn as well, is that him?
Gondolier.
Okay.
Yep. I believe so. I don't think that was the unicorn was his. It might have been. Huge affection for the book. It was different than the movie, so I will tell people that first. But yes, I love everything by William Goldman, so I read the book and I had to see the movie. And once I saw the movie, I just fell in love. And part of the reason is because it is so genre defying. It is a fantasy, a romance. It has action. It is a comedy. I don't like comedies, as we've discussed. I'm not a big fan of comedies, but I love funny. And this is a funny movie without being a comedy. It is heartwarming, and it has some of the best throwaway lines. I mean, it's eminently quotable.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
But it has also just some of the best throwaway lines of, when they're talking to Andre the Giant of, your way is to hit them in the head with a rock. Well, my way is not very sportsmanlike. It's not meant for a big laugh, but the way it's said and so many things are deadpan. One of the other lines I love, which is a huge plot point, is when the prince says, I've got to get my country's 500th anniversary to plan, I've got my wedding to arrange, my wife to murder, and Gilder to frame for it. I'm swamped. It's the first time we realize that the prince is a bad guy. It's that line that tells us. And it's a throwaway line, it's hilariously funny, and it's important.
Yes.
And so it does so much with so little, and every moment is important.
This is we've talked about this before, and I think it's something both of us gravitate towards. We both like very tight movies,
Yes.
not a lot of waste. I cannot think of a single scene in this movie that is wasteful, that does not accomplish multiple things at once.
Exactly.
It's incredibly tight. To me, this is absolute perfection in storytelling. It is not, if you look at the framing of it, right? So you have this wonderful, fantastical story, but it is a grandfather reading this story to his son. If you were to take away that extra element, this would be a wonderful movie in its own right, but it is that extra layer that keeps getting interrupted as we go through that elevates the actual overall story of it. I don't know if that's what was in the book or not.
So in the book, it is William Goldman is looking for a copy of one of his favorite story books for his son to go read to him. So
Okay.
same basic framing, and the book he's looking for is The Princess Bride.
It's these little things that make a movie, rather than just be a really good movie, a great
Yes.
movie. If you did not have those interruptions throughout, this would not be the same movie, it would not be the same story, and those little things just elevate it to near perfection as opposed to just being like, oh yeah, I'll happily watch that, that was fun, I remember enjoying that. You watch this again and again and again because of the story that you're being told and the way that story is being told. It is perfection in storytelling.
And also, you miss so much. I've seen this probably 30 times. You have to go back and see it so many more times because you pick up on something new every time. You see the Count is figuring out what happened in the sword play, and he's like, oh, and then he changed hands, and they went off that way.
Yeah.
And that's incredibly funny. I mean, Wallace Shawn in this is spectacular. And the lines he throws out there are absolutely just, I didn't know who he was before this. And he was, obviously.
He's inconceivable. Right?
Exactly. Inconceivable. I do not think that word means what you think it means.
You keep on using that word. I do not
Exactly.
think it means what you think it means.
Mhm.
Real quick fun fact about that. That role was originally was offered to, oh my god, why am I blanking? He big producer, Danny
DeVito.
Yeah, Danny DeVito. It was and he was, I believe the story is he was getting close to time for production. He was on board, and Wallace became a last minute substitution.
Oh, interesting.
The entire time that, this is out of Wallace's own mouth, that the entire time he was there, he kept expecting to be fired and was petrified the entire time because he was told that he was a replacement.
I get that.
If that's the case and he was able to deliver that performance because of that, then perfect.
Well, and let's talk about the casting. There is not one miscast in here. It's, from...
Even the albino.
It was terrific, exactly. For a while, I don't know why, I thought that was Jim Belushi. Kind of has the sense of him, but not so much. That's the only person that I don't know that hasn't gone on to be somebody who was somebody.
He's a very popular British actor. He was in a couple TV series, one that's right on the tip of my tongue.
Okay. I'll go check it out.
Yes, everybody is perfectly cast. Even Andre, who I think this was his first actual film role. I think he'd done a couple TV things before, but even he is, like, as you like to say, everybody knew their assignment and did it to perfection. Mm-hmm. Everybody was able to show up and inhabit their characters. They were not over the top. They were not below. They were exactly what they needed to be to tell the story. Everybody just enhances the story.
I think this is one of those rare movies where the cast is perfectly cast. Their presentation is amazing. The words, though, again, it always for me comes down to the dialogue and the things that they were saying and the way that they were said and the way it all comes together. I like how you were talking about, the Fred Savage and Peter Falk, also both perfectly cast. Peter Falk with that little glint in his eye of the just sweet grandfather. You're right, it's not just the book ending at the beginning and the end, it's in the middle when something gets scary. And you're thinking that too, you're like, I hope they're gonna be okay. And also, like, the biggest part where that becomes important is when it's when Wesley dies. And the boy's like, no, he's not supposed to die. This is a fairy tale, this is a happy ending. They don't die. And Peter Falk's like, I don't know what to tell you, kid, the guy dies. And that's what is going on in your own head, so it's great that was the perfect moment to break in.
The thing that I really enjoy about that is it brings this extra element into it, where the story that you're watching is a told story, which means it's a shared story.
Yes.
Like he read it to his son, his father read it to him, it is passed on, but that's what told stories are, what oral stories are. That's something that is shared. Mm-hmm. So right from the beginning, you're told this is the way it's going to be, and you're invited to become part of this tradition, and you're basically a witness to a beautiful moment between two people being told this amazing story. It just works so incredibly well.
It does, and it is a beautiful story, and Robin Wright, I think, this was her first film role. She was actually an actress on Santa Barbara at the time that she got.
Oh, that's right, I heard that.
Yeah, and she got let out of her contract for a while to be able to make the movie. So they did, allow her to do that. One of the things I've always said is that if I ever do get married, the officiant is going to start with marriage. Marriage is what brings us together. When love, to love. Like, that's just hilarious.
Yes.
It could only be better if Moira Rose showed up and said it in her outfit. Like, that could only make me happier as a human being. But yeah, this movie just has everything, and it's tight, and it's enjoyable, and it's sweet, and it just makes you happy.
And very quickly, you're in for the ride of things.
Yes.
There are scenes in here that in another movie you would scoff at, but work perfectly for here. An easy example, when they're having the battle of wits with the wine, and to get out of it, he's like, "Oh, what's that over there?" And then he turns around and looks, and then he switches. That scene in any other movie would 100% not work.
Yes.
It works perfectly for this movie, because the entire movie is setting up that these are things that happen and are okay.
And that the Dread Pirate Roberts is basically Wesley in a mask.
Yes.
Everybody knows that except for Buttercup.
Yes.
Who, again, like when she throws herself down the hill after him, is absolutely adorable.
I caught something this time that I had never caught before. When Peter Falk refers to Inigo's character, he calls him Indigo.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, next time you watch it, when he's referring to him, he refers to him as Indigo, but Inigo refers to himself as Inigo.
I missed that.
I never caught that before, and I was like, I don't know if that's a mistake or is that intentional, and if it's intentional, why? Because that seems confusing. That's just a little thing that I caught this time. So this is, there are so many quotable lines. Stop that rhyming and I mean it. Anybody want a peanut? I mean, you could go on and on and on with a number of quotable lines that have become culturally relevant as well.
Oh, absolutely.
I will argue that this is, in my estimation, the second most influential movie of all time. Number one being Star Wars, this one being number two.
I'm not going to argue with you on that.
Culturally, not necessarily.
No, everybody has seen this movie, everybody has a touchstone to this movie, and can quote something from this movie.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. And I think, Star Wars is probably number one. I think it may be the most quotable movie out there as well. There's lots of movies that have many quotes. This one, almost every line is a quote.
This one has the most. I'm gonna agree, but I'm gonna put a slight twist on it.
Okay.
It is the most quotable for the most people.
Okay.
For me, I don't know if my next or the movie after is the most quotable, and that's Spinal Tap has the most quotable lines for me.
And who directed that?
Rob Reiner.
There you go. So I would say Rob Reiner has the most quoted movies in the history of the world.
But I agree with you. Culturally, I think this is one that everybody can at least quote inconceivable.
Yeah.
And hello, my name is Inigo Montoya.
Yes.
That's on bumper stickers. It's everywhere.
Memes. Yeah. Exactly.
The other thing that everybody takes their roles so incredibly seriously. Even the fight scenes, the sword fighting is top notch sword fighting. And they spent like a month, the two of them, trying to get that down, and it was so incredibly well done. You believe that they're actually initially just playing and feeling each other out, but then you can see them go, "Oh no, it's on now. This is real." Those little attention to detail where they go for it fully to make you believe in this world that they've created that all of this is true, just enhance it. If the sword fighting scene hadn't worked, probably would have been okay, but if it wasn't as good as it was, but because it was, again, it elevates the film overall.
And I agree with everything you said, and would add, they play with each other, and then they have a real sword fight, and you can see Inigo's joy of, I have found somebody who matches my talent. This is wonderful. I'm still going to beat him, but this has been really fun. And then you realize that that's not even his dominant hand, and he switches it over. So it's almost like they have 3 different fights.
Yeah.
And the choreography is amazing. And just before that, there's another moment of, Inigo swears on the life of his father that this man will reach the top alive, and immediately he believes him because of the strength of what he's saying. And you see each of these characters, how they relate to each other and start to bond is important.
It even ends with a little bit of hope for characters. You know that Buttercup and the
Wesley.
Thank you, Wesley. They're going to go off and live a fantastic, wonderful
Yes.
life together. And you also know that Aniko is going to now become the Dread Pirate Robert. So he has a life. Granted, it's going to be, you know, murdering people, but still.
But I don't think he does. I think that's the whole issue is he has the reputation to murder people so he doesn't have to.
Yeah,
Because Wesley never murdered anybody.
that's true.
He just came on with the reputation of having done so. So I think that, who knows if the Red Pirate Roberts even ever
Yeah,
murdered
that's true.
someone.
That's true.
Mhm.
But I like that even at an end you have a future for everybody that's there. It's a fairy tale ending and it's supposed to be, but you 100% buy it
Yes.
without issue or problem. Just immaculately done.
Yep, and it's just beautiful costumes, you know, beautiful shots, layouts. The sets look like sets. You know,
Yeah.
that like where they are doing that sword fight, it looks like a set, and
Yes.
it's supposed to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's supposed to be kind of fake and fantasy.
You mentioned rightly so that this is a genre-defying movie. It is not one thing; it is all things, and it answers the question for me, for a lot of people, when they're like, I don't know what I'm in the mood to watch. Maybe I want a romance. Maybe I want an action adventure. Watch The Princess Bride. It's got
Yes.
it all for you.
It does, and it is one of those that you just put on if you just want something warm and comforting,
Yeah.
and it's just joyous.
This deserves to be in the top 5 for both of us without a doubt. This is, again, we've seen this with Rob Reiner films over and over. The care and craft that he has, not only in his filmmaking, but the attention to detail in character and story is unparalleled. It really, really is. His ability to just bring together and tell you the exact story that he wants, where every element reinforces the story that is being told. Not a lot of directors will do that. They'll have a great movie for you, but they don't necessarily enforce the story that's being told. And that is essential for this movie to work so well, as everything has to reinforce the story. And it
Completely
does.
agree. Yep, completely agree. There's not a missed moment in this story.
No. So anyway, that's why that's my number 5.
And that's why that's my number 2.
All right. See ya.
Bye.